All right, let's dive in. We're looking into Luminous Carbon Window Film today
Okay.
and using their data sheet as our guide.
Sounds good.
So let's unpack it all and see if this is the window film for you.
Right off the bat, they really emphasize affordability and performance. It seems like they want to position this as, a good value,
Yeah, I see that.
something that gives you a lot without being super expensive.
Yeah, they hit those buzzwords pretty hard, don't they? They're talking about a perfect balance and superior heat rejection,
Right.
sleek, non-reflective appearance. I mean, it's like, who wouldn't want that, right?
It's smart,
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
because they're not claiming to be the absolute best, most premium option out there.
right.
They're highlighting a mix of features that'll probably appeal to a wider range of people.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And speaking of those features, they really dig into the benefits, They've got UV protection, glare reduction, enhanced privacy, even added safety and energy efficiency.
It's pretty impressive how much they pack into these films nowadays.
It is.
Like, think about the UV protection for a second.
Yeah.
It's not just about keeping your car cool. It's actually like sunscreen for your skin.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that.
They get into some of the technical stuff.
Okay.
The TSCR, VLT, IRR. Can you break those down for us in simple terms?
Sure. So imagine
Yeah.
you're driving into the sunset, right?
Mm.
That intense low-angle sunlight,
Yeah.
TSER, or total solar energy rejection,
Mm.
is all about how much of that energy the film blocks.
Okay.
A higher TSER means less heat.
So like less of that heat blasting you in the face.
Exactly. It's like a shield against the sun's energy.
Gotcha. And VLT.
VLT is visible light transmitted, so it's how much light actually gets through.
So like how dark the tint is.
Yeah. Think of it like sunglasses.
Mm.
High VLT is like a light pair, letting in more light. Low VLT is like a dark pair, making things much darker.
So if you want more privacy, you'd go for lower VLT.
Right, you'd want a darker tint.
And what about IRR?
IRR, or infrared rejection, focuses on blocking infrared rays.
Which is what causes the heat.
Yes, exactly. Higher IRR means a cooler car.
So all these measurements tell you how well the film performs overall.
They give you the full picture, yeah.
That makes sense. And speaking of clarity, they break down their product line by different VLT percentages,
Oh,
from 70% all the way down to 5%.
that 5% must be incredibly dark.
Seriously dark. And they show how the performance changes based on the VLT you choose.
Right, like a 70% will let in a lot of light,
Right.
but it won't block as much heat.
So there's a trade-off there.
There is?
More light, but less heat protection.
Exactly. With the 5%, you get tons of privacy and heat blocking, but visibility could be an issue.
Especially at night, right?
Yeah, especially at night. So you got to decide what's important to you.
It's about priorities.
It is. Do you want a bright interior, or is blocking heat and privacy more important?
And that's probably where professional installation comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, you need someone who can help you weigh those options.
Absolutely.
Speaking of installation, they mention a 3-year warranty in the data sheet.
Okay.
Is that pretty standard for window films?
3 years is fairly common, but there are a couple of caveats.
Oh.
It only applies if it's professionally installed.
Mm.
So if you try to DIY it and something goes wrong, you're out of luck.
Makes sense. I wouldn't want to mess up my windows or the film itself.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk.
And they also say damage from external factors isn't covered.
Right.
So, maybe don't go testing the added strength by checking rocks at your car windows.
Uh-huh. Yeah, probably not a good idea.
While it might make them more shatter resistant,
Mm-hmm.
it's not invincible.
No, not at all.
And speaking of the film's structure, they highlight that it's multi-layered,
Right.
and they specifically call out this carbon-infused pay tool film.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What's the significance of that? What role does that play in the performance?
Well, that carbon-infused layer is crucial for the heat rejection and fade resistance.
Oh, okay.
It's specifically designed to block those infrared rays
I see.
and to prevent the film from fading or discoloring over time.
So it's not just a simple layer of tint.
It's much more sophisticated than that.
There's some real science and engineering going on there
Definitely. They've put a lot of thought into it.
to make it effective and long-lasting.
Exactly.
It seems like they've really considered the technology behind this film.
They have. And, you mentioned professional installation earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The data sheet is really clear that it's essential.
Mm.
Not just recommended, but essential for the warranty and for it to actually work, right?
So this is not something you'd just try in your driveway on a Saturday afternoon.
It's not a casual DIY project. Improper installation can cause all kinds of problems.
Like what?
Bubbles, wrinkles, peeling.
Oh, no.
It'll look bad,
Yeah.
and it might not even perform properly.
Right.
And you could even damage your windows.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. You really need to find a reputable installer.
Someone with experience, right?
Definitely. Do your research.
Right.
Look for certifications, good reviews.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, absolutely. A good installer will be happy to walk you through everything.
Make sure you understand the process.
Exactly.
It's like anything else, you want someone you can trust.
For sure.
Someone who knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of the technical side of things, but what about the aesthetics? How would these different VLT options actually look on my car?
That's a great question. And it's one the datasheet doesn't really answer.
Right.
They focus so much on the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But there are no visuals to show what those percentages translate to in real life.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It's one thing to understand the numbers,
Right.
but it's another to actually visualize what a 5% VLT looks like compared to a 30%, you know? Because that visual aspect is a big part of the decision.
It is. It's about finding the right balance between function and style.
Right. Do you want a sleek, blacked out look or something more subtle?
It's about how it complements your car.
Exactly.
Its color, the overall aesthetic.
And then there's visibility, especially at night.
Oh, definitely.
Super dark tint might look cool, but if you can't see, that's dangerous.
It's a safety hazard.
So you really have to weigh the pros and cons.
Absolutely.
The data sheet gives us a lot to work with, but you as the listener have to do some more research on the aesthetic side of things.
You do.
So what would you recommend? How can someone get a better sense of what these VLTs actually look like on a car?
Well, you can start by looking online.
Okay.
Search for pictures or videos of cars with luminous carbon window film installed.
Okay.
You might find examples of different VLTs on different models,
Right.
which can give you a better visual idea.
That's a good starting point.
And if you can, try to see it in person.
Oh.
Maybe a friend has it or someone in a local car club.
Yeah, good idea.
Seeing it in person gives you a much better feel than just looking at pictures online.
And speaking of getting a feel for things, we talked about professional installers.
Right.
Could they help with the visual aspect too?
Oh, absolutely. A good installer will have samples of the different VLTs.
Oh.
You can see them, touch them, even hold them up to your car.
That's so helpful.
It takes out the guesswork.
It really does.
And they can give you advice based on their experience.
Like what?
Well, they might point out things you haven't considered. Like how certain VLTs will look different depending on your car's interior color.
Oh, interesting.
Or the amount of sunlight in your region.
Okay.
So it's about finding an installer who's not just skilled at installation,
Right.
but also knowledgeable about the product and how it looks.
They can be a valuable resource
They can.
to help you make the right choice for your needs and your style.
Exactly. They can guide you through the whole process.
From understanding the technical stuff to choosing the VLT and making sure the installation is perfect.
They're really worth their weight in gold.
So to sum it up, it seems like luminous carbon window film is a pretty solid option.
Yeah.
It's got a good mix of features, performance, and it's reasonably priced.
It seems like a good value.
But like with any decision, you got to do your research.
Absolutely.
Gather all the info, weigh the pros and cons, figure out what matters most to you.
Right.
Is it heat rejection, privacy, aesthetics?
And remember, don't skimp on professional installation.
It can make or break the experience.
Absolutely.
A good installer can be your guide through it all.
They can.
Help you choose the right VLT and make sure it's installed flawlessly.
Right.
But before we wrap up, I have one final thought.
Okay.
We've learned a lot, but there's always more to explore.
That's true.
The great thing about these deep dives is that they spark curiosity.
They do.
They make you want to learn more.
And they open up new avenues for exploration.
Exactly. So if you're interested in luminous carbon window film or window films in general, don't stop here. Keep researching, keep asking questions.
Right.
Keep diving deeper into the world of car modifications.
Because the more you know, the better choices you can make.
Absolutely. The more informed your decisions will be.
And that will lead to a better driving experience overall.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to continue your exploration. Until next time, happy driving. And it can give you that feeling of, like a sanctuary,
Yeah, like a little haven in your car.
Yeah, exactly. That peace of mind.
Especially if you're spending a lot of time driving.
Oh, absolutely.
It can really make a difference.
It's amazing how something like window film can have such an impact on your driving experience.
It really is. It shows how important it is to consider all the aspects of a mod.
Right.
Not just the practical stuff.
Yes.
Some